Yes, sir. We're at the Battle of Little Bighorn. And the guard shack, and nobody there. So whoever came in here, all free. This is the beginning of the battlefield. Tells what companies were here. Way out there. It's where the Crow scouts. Why are you so slow? Okay. The lone teepees were down. Down around that area. Down there. Then we're going to start walking down to the entrenchment line. This is what I wanted to do the first time. And I wasn't allowed. Because my boss said I wasn't allowed. My boss was my big brother, Tom. The boss said I couldn't come. Hence, the war begins for the rest of the vacation. I'll let the pictures tell the story. I can. Oh, there's a hopper. A little grasshopper. Reno's battalion. And where are we looking at? You can't tell. Not in that picture, but down that away. Where's the mountain? This is silly looking. Oh, okay, I do see that. Those two prominent and the two prominent hills there. That's our. So it's down. These aren't very good. This ain't very good. These pictures on this aren't that good. Not very good. But you get the idea that it was right in over the river, which you can see down here, and over in those trees. And the Indian village was up that way. And like I said, I'll let the pictures tell the story. And that is right, we can see that. Right there. Zoom out. What the hell's he? What the fuck's he doing? Oh, am I still recording? Oh, sorry. I don't know. But this is where he defended himself after coming back up, after getting whooped. And I always thought it was right down here, right there. They came up off the river and right there. Maybe the National Park Service doesn't own it, but I could be wrong. That's what I thought from my readings. They come up off the river crest and formed a skirmish line up on top. But maybe it was all the way up here. Maybe eventually they came up all the way up here. See, there was all this to see, and I didn't get to see it in 2013. I-90's right where the train's at. The train's going. And I guess all along here is where they decided to defend. But then again, I thought it was down where I just showed you. But the fighting took place, the original fighting. He came down, Reno came down over these, into these coulees or whatever in mounds, went across the river and fought, formed a line and charged up the river valley, or the river, and then was beaten back in these woods. Had casualties. Most of them got back up the hill, and I guess they formed up here, but I'm not sure. Again, I thought it was on the hump. But anyway, now we're gonna take a walk way up here. But the fighting took place at the beginning of the battle, and then I believe they disengaged, the Indians did, to help in the fight against Custer, because Custer was closest to the village. And but then afterwards, I believe they tried to overtake Reno's position. And this is going to tell us something. This should tell us too. Hold on, I'm going to shut this off. This is 2. Okay, as number 2 explains in this booklet, that this was part of the defense line. I think at night after Custer was defeated, his troops. There's the Little Bighorn down there too. So I guess the defense line came over here, and what I explained was this was after Benteen arrived in the afternoon, and then they helped form the defense line. And I guess what I'm following is the defense line of Reno and Benteen. There's a big inquiry after the battle, and I'm not quite sure. I don't remember what exactly happened. It's getting hot out here, so thank goodness it's the morning. And then number 3, and I gotta read it and then I'll let you know what it says. Number 3. Okay, they set up a field hospital right in this area here, with the only doctor that survived the battle. He set it up there. So I'm thinking, if you're going to set up a field hospital, that possibly the defensive line came up this way, but we will see. This is too cool. I love it. I'm loving this now. And then you get a better shot of the mountains where the Crow scouts actually spotted the village here from the smoke. And I don't think any of the cavalry could even understand it. Oh, this goes on and on and on. Interesting. This is number 4. They do not want you to come off. Okay. So there are rifle pits still here, right there, right along there. They don't want you screwing with them, which I don't blame them. Okay, so this is 4. Let me just take a peek and then I'll let you know. As it states, these trenches were dug. They only had a few shovels, so they used axes, whatever they had to dig it. And then this was destroyed, but then in 1958 they redid it, and they also drug dead horses and dead mules up around it. So the Indians were attacking up this valley right here. I didn't know it was this long. I thought it was all where we were at, just that area, but no siree Bob. So I'm pretty sure Benteen came from this direction. And I'm not sure why Custer sent Benteen off with the pack mules. Benteen. Over that way. I think they thought that they were going to scatter, and they didn't want the Indians to scatter, because typically that's what would happen when they were attacked. Villages with not as many Indians as this village had. Custer was just not informed enough, it sounds like to me, to be able to be doing what he did by separating his command. And I guess this is the end of the defense line, would seem right, but there isn't anything here. No, unless it's gone. I don't know. Okay, so this is 5, and looking at this, it makes sense why Reno and Benteen did not go to Custer's defense. Right here, the Indians on the night after Custer got killed were attacking with rifles that they obtained from the dead cavalry. There's one down here, I think is 6. The thing isn't there anymore. So we got to walk back down here. I'm going to shut this off and then pick it up. Okay, by process of elimination and a lot of walking, this is 6. And see the coulee down there? Coulee, I guess. Okay, so now I'm going to read it and get back. Okay, so the doctor told Reno that if the wounded did not get any water, that they would be in really bad shape. So that morning they asked for volunteers to go down to the river's edge and fill canteens up. In the process, they kept firing to keep the Indians occupied while they went down this coulee into the edge of the water. Numerous ones were awarded medals of honor, but the one who got his leg shattered by a Indian bullet and the Crow Scout that saved him, neither of them got any recognition at all. And there you go. What does that tell you? I don't know what it tells you, but hey, he lived a fairly long life. We're going to keep the camera going this way and this way, and then we go up to 7, 8, and 9, and 10, maybe? I don't know. I did see 7 up here when I walked up here before. The way I understand it, the whole 7th Cavalry, or those that made up the 7th Cavalry at the time, came from that direction there, up to here, up to here. And we'll get a glimpse of 7, and I'll shut it off and read a little bit and give you a synopsis. So this was a trench here, and an L-shaped trench, and 2 Jones and Meter eventually were buried here after the battle, and then they were interred up at the Battlefield Cemetery up there. But if the Indians were all around them, I can see why Benteen and the other dude, I keep forgetting his name, decided not to go to Custer's aid. They would have been cut down like Custer was. So he saved his companies, both of them. So here we're coming up to 8. And here's 2 grave sites. Let's see, but maybe this is Meter and Jones. Yeah, there's Meter. I can't see real well. Meter. And then this is probably Jones. But these guys, they were fighting, sounds like all through the night. And then to the morning. Well, let's see if we can get this. I can't see. That's terrible. There it is. Coming in. Okay. 8. There's 8. I'll read it. Okay. A soldier by the name of Windoff, who died at the age of 98 in 1950, was the one who pointed out where these 2 soldiers fell. And then, see, this was this was a pretty good defensive position. That Benteen, no, Reno, so it's Benteen and Reno. But Reno originally chose after coming back up the battlefield where they were fighting in that direction. So he had to defend all of this area. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, 9 and 10, and then we got bird poop here. And this is an Indian warrior, which I think is what the National Park Service has been trying to do, is to tell their story too, which is great. And this is Long Road, Gahuska. Sands Ark. Sioux warrior died here on June 1876 while defending his home. Oh boy. Did you hear that? Here I'm screwing up. He was a Sands Ark warrior. He died here defending his homeland on June the 26th, 1876. Friggin' awesome. Okay, and sorry about that. I didn't hit the button. So by the morning of the 26th, the Indians occupied all this area all the way around, and right before daylight, this warrior here and others got all the way up to this point. Reno seen that his whole line was threatened. So he led Company M and a countercharge down here and saved his defensive position. So I'm assuming, yeah, see, there's an Indian marker. The red ones that we just seen, there's an Indian marker down there, if you can see it. Is where an Indian was killed. I hope you can see it. It's not easy because I can't see anything except my stupid face. Okay, zoomed out. I should have did this back there, but with his and Reno and Benteen's troops, and you have to see how many soldiers it was to defend this whole area against overwhelming odds. Must have been horrendous, that whole evening and night and morning. And then I'm assuming at later in the day on the 26th is when the Indians decided to break camp and disperse. I think, as most people know, they made their way into Canada without the army stopping them. So we did all this. So we're gonna go down this way, and not so sure. I'll bet you, I mean, this would seem to be associated with the Indian position, but there's a marker right in there of a soldier's position where he fell. I can't see, but I'm hoping I'm getting it. I can see it with my eyes there. Well, you can see that in regards to the monument up there, where I guess was headquarters of Reno. Here's another soldier up here. We'll get a picture of him. There's possibly a map identifying each of these grave markers and who fell there. so you can see that even the defense line or them retreating up to the fence line, because you would think that that's a pretty imposing for the Indians to go up there, and especially in broad daylight. They tried to, as I said up at top, they tried to do a sneak attack. No, oh, okay, hold on. This is going to tell us something here. Good. And we get to go right up to the grave, but let me read it first, or get a little info. This is number 12. Okay, this was Company A's position, and down here they actually formed a defensive line with anything they could find that they had at their disposal. So hardtack boxes, ammunition boxes, dead horses, and mules. And here's the soldier and his name. Nope, they didn't know. They don't know who it was. 7th June 26th, 25th or 26th, 1876. Okay, so this is where they were looking out of. And it was a saucer-shaped defensive position. So if you can, goes from there all the way up to there, and yeah, you can barely see the monument there. Yeah. Huh. See, I'm learning something along with you, because I had no clue it was that he was in such peril. Oh, also, it was 1958 when they initially started doing archaeological research. All this information here was done then, and because it was a static battlefield, I'm sure they didn't feel that later on that they needed to do more research like they did for Custer, where Custer's troops companies were. So there's 15 of these, so we may learn more. I'm gonna turn it off. There's one coming up. Okay, I'm up at 13, and I'll get right back to you with the information. So I don't think you can really tell, but there's rifle pits right in this area, and they did restoration the best they could in 1958, and they believe they did a very good job. Company, what did I say, G was defending right here, their backs towards this position. And we're gonna go take a hike down to the next one, which is way over there. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I always envisioned that Reno's position was a compact area. Well, lucky to say, bullshit on that. He had all the rights to stay put. Now this one in front, I'm not going to say yet, but I'm pretty sure during when Custer and they could hear the gunfire from that part of the battlefield, one of the underling officers, I don't know, we'll find out who it was, rode up on that hill, and he could see the commotion, the battle going on, and he advised that he could take his company, I guess, to Custer's aid, and he was denied. 14 and 15. 14 and 15. Hold on. some of the right Company K defended this area. There are rifle pits in here somewhere. Yeah, I can't find them. One was original and another one was restored, so they had to have had, I wonder if that one that I talked about dying in it would have been 1950, how they identified where the rifle pits were to restore them. But I don't see them over here, and I don't expect them to be mowing, but somewhere in here are rifle pits. Oh, I would surmise right there, and right here. Here they are, right there. Yeah, right along there. Yeah, again, they dug with anything they could find that you get your break up the ground. And then I think we're coming to the end. Number 16. This is also Company K defending here, and a rifle pit right there. Right there, if you can see that. It's hard, but it's right there, right in here. And they say, don't step in it, and I will not. I'm a good little boy. The nuns taught me just perfectly. And this is what they're looking at. So this must be the evening of the the evening of 25th and the morning of the 26th. And there's Indians all over with new acquired carbines or rifles from Custer's men who were laying dead farther away. And I'll tell you what, it was a long drive to get back here. So Custer, when we get back in the car, just think Custer and his companies riding off to our right all the way down to the hill where he got killed. It's a long ride. That's interesting. Growing on its own. Okay, this is 17. Boy, I'm glad I came back here. So this is indicating that this was a burial with a partial remains of a soldier. In 1881, they found as many buried soldiers and reburied them up by the hill. And we're almost done with, I think we're almost done with this walk. This is exact. See, oh man, this is exactly what I wanted to do in 2013. Now hopefully this tells us up here about this mound up here, because I'm almost sure a lieutenant of a company, hearing the fighting going on Custer Hill or whatever you call it, that he wanted to go to his rescue. And I'm not sure if Benteen and Reno, I always say Benteen, it should be Reno, Benteen, at their court-martial, if they ever got court-martialed. So we're at 18. Hold on. So that hump there was occupied by Indians, even with long-range sharp rifles, and made it miserable shooting into to Reno's position along here. And they had all different types of weapons, from 1860 Sharps rifle all the way up to 1866 Winchesters. So, as I said, I think Reno made the correct decision. Now we're going to go look at other parts, but really this is why I came back, because all I got to see was that before I got yelled at. That's the end of the story. So Reno's battle, part of his battlefield was all along here, and this is where Custer splits up from Reno and Benteen. But I gotta get going. My app probably picked all this stuff up, so I don't need to read this stuff. I can crank up my app and it'll tell me all this stuff. Okay. See, that's Reno's Valley fight. There's Reno. There's Wallace. This is Low Dog, and blah blah blah. But this shows you where he came from this end. And the fight was over the Little Bighorn right down there, down in that area. And there we go. That is Benteen's position on the night of the 25th, and the battlefield there. So we're here at Sharpshooter Ridge, and I'm assuming this was an Indian position, it seems like, but I'm not gonna read it. Like I said, I got all this on my app. But here's where Vincent Charles, a farrier, fell near here, right here. And the flag's gone. But what is this? That's part of the flag, and somebody saved it. That's nice of them. So, good question. A farrier. I don't know what a farrier is. I should. But anyway, part of the battlefield. We're driving towards Custer Hill, and I'm gonna say the Indian village across the river, I'm not sure, well, was beyond the tree line, and it went for miles with the different tribes set up on different areas. And I'm not quite sure we'll learn that. Like the Cheyenne was at one part of the larger village. The Sioux, maybe even break down the Sioux individual tribes. But anyway, how you know that? Well, most people already knew this, but I think you'll get a better view over by, because Custer's Hill was actually at the end of the village. Okay, this is the guy I was talking about, and the point was either up here that we can read, or there. It makes more sense if it was up there or up there, but let's read. An attempt to locate Custer Company D under Captain Thomas Rear advances to this hilltop position without orders late on June. He was part of, well anyway, Ware may have witnessed the conclusion of the battle 3 miles ahead. He is later joined by Captain Benteen and others. The Lakota and Cheyenne, returning from destroying all of Custer's immediate command, forced these troops to abandon this position in favor of their hilltop defense 1 mile to the south, which was in back of us. We saw soldiers coming on a hill toward the south and east. Everybody began yelling, "Hurry!" We started for the soldiers. They ran back towards where they had come from. One got killed and many of us got off and cooed him. Wow. And seeing many horsemen over on the distant ridge with guidons flying, where said, "That is Custer over there," and mounted up ready to go over, when Sergeant Flanagan said, "Here, Captain, you had better take a look through the glasses. I think those are Indians." Ware did so and changed his mind about leaving the place. Accordingly, the men were dismounted and horses led behind the hill. And that was Private Morris, which is a picture of him later on in life. So this is, but we're not allowed up there, so you really can't see. But that was his position, and 3 miles away. And that's how far we gotta go. Medicine Tail Coulee. After leaving Cedar Coulee, Custer descends toward the Little Bighorn River to the ravine ahead known as Medicine Tail Coulee. Custer probably again divides his command. 3 companies likely ascend to the higher ridges beyond. Oh, there's Keogh. Oh, cool. 2 companies approach the river along Medicine Tail Coulee. Near here, Custer sends back a message to Captain Benteen to be quick. Most warriors are still engaged with Reno and the valley, yet some are aware of Custer's advance. This guy, Martini, could hardly speak English from what I read somewhere. And there's Keogh. This guy is an interesting read, his biography. Yates, I don't know much about him. But it's neat because they started believing the Indian accounts of the battle. On reaching Medicine Tail Coulee, Custer halted his command, and here the men rearranged their saddles. He wrote, oh no, this was a Crow Scout. He wrote to an officer who seemed to be in command of one of the troops and gave him an order. Immediately the troop turns its directions toward the Little Bighorn. Custer, with the remainder of his command, continued going northward, his trail about 1.5 miles from the river. And here's the Indian. From across the river I could hear the music of the bugle and could see the columns of soldiers turn to the left to march down to the river where the attack was to be made. All I could see was the warriors of my people. They rushed like the wind through the village. Mrs. Spotted Horn Bull hung Papa Lakota. And there she is. This is interesting. So he starts to even split his other command. So he sent over towards the Little Bighorn from here over those bluffs. Huh. Or they were up there. Yeah, maybe they were up there because the Indians couldn't see them. That Mrs. couldn't see them unless they were up on that ridge line. Okay, Medicine Tail Ford. I really don't feel like reading all this stuff, but from here they could see the village. There's the river along the tree line. The village was right there. Right there past the tree line, right there you can see. That's a good view. So Custer splits his command again. Not too smart. Here's another Italian, Martini. I wonder if he had
Steve Martini from.
Yeah. Do you think maybe he had a martini before he got here? That was fun. This is 2 moons. We hurriedly crossed the river, and some went up and some went down to get on each side of where the soldiers were intending to come. Custer came to the edge and stopped, and almost in an instant the guns commenced to go, increasing to a roar like thunder. Oh, this is an interesting thing. I think each company had different color horses. Oh, sorry. I'll read it. As soldiers descend Medicine Tail Coulee, the many Kanju and Cheyenne camps were on the western bank. Archaeological evidence supports Indian testimony that the initial fighting took place on the flats near the river to your left, which is what we're looking at, and cut down directly ahead. The Gray Horse Company, Company E, and possibly Company F approaches this area. Indian pressure quickly forces these troops to Battle Ridge, wherever that is. 3 Crow scouts who led Custer fired into a village from the bluff at the left, right up there. I didn't know that the Crow scouts got involved before departing, so yes. So they got their shots in. As everyone knows, the Crow and the Sioux, mortal enemies. So yeah, this is relatively flat. Huh. Okay. I wasn't recording and I read this whole thing, so I'm just going to go over it. So Custer is down here in this ravine. The Indian village is right across the Little Bighorn, and you can see part of the Little Bighorn right there. And let me zoom into it, and with the sun and the clouds I can actually see. So there was 3 accounts by Indians, 2 from the Sioux and 1 from the Crow Scout, and part of the command, the 7th Cavalry Command, was part went up there, and it sounds like for some reason it doesn't seem right, but part went up there, but Custer, but then they had to reform and go that way, because Custer Hill is that away. So you can kind of see it with this picture. But they had Indians on all sides of them, so they went riding up that way eventually, I guess. Look at, there's a car. Yeah, see, that's going towards Custer Hill. So we're working our way to Custer Hill, and on June 25th, 1866, approximately 7,000 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, including 1,500 to 2,000 warriors, encamped below on the Greasy Grass River, the Little Bighorn, under the political and spiritual leadership of Tatanka Ayatanka Sitting Bull. They refused to be restricted to the reservation and sought to follow their traditional nomadic way of life. So there was the village right there where Custer could see the whole shebang right there. Right there in front of him, all the way. So let's get these comments.
Planes flying in.
Yeah. So 2 Moons of Northern Cheyenne said, we went over the divide and we camped in the valley of the Little Bighorn. Everybody thought, now we are out of the white man's country. He can live there, we will live here. Yeah, well, that didn't work. We camped in the valley along the south side of the Greasy Grass. It was a very big village, and you could hardly count the teepees. Along the side toward the east was the Greasy Grass with some timber along it, and it was running from the melting of the snow and the Bighorn Mountains. That was said by Black Elk, Agala, Lakota. So I would assume Custer Road was right here or thereabouts. Yeah, probably right here. And seen a vast village. And all they wanted to do was be left alone and live their lives.
Yeah, you know, somebody's only got to fuck with you.
Live their lives. Yep. We're now at Greasy Grass Ridge. Warriors ascend the large ravine behind you, pursuing Custer's troops. Soldiers retreat through the area to your front and right. Indians position themselves along the ridge to your left, known as Greasy Grass Ridge. Archaeologists discovered numerous Indian cartridge cases in this area. So, let's go get this. So the cavalry retreated that away. So they're up here and they are forced to retreat that way. The Indians came up from this side from their village, and an account, this is Curly, a Crow scout who was with Custer's command. When whole command was at Finley Hill at your right and front, all the way up there? I don't know, they don't say. They were fired at the Sioux, who were closing in. At the south side, in the deep gulches and behind the ridge between the soldiers and the river, I found none but Cheyennes and Agala. That was Kate the Big Head of the Southern Cheyenne. So the Indians started to form. As you can see, they were laying down, forming right along here, laying down, firing into the troops who were over this way, and Custer Hill is that way. So as you can imagine, those troops riding up that way where those cars are coming in. And that's it. And look at the beautiful sky. That's why they call this the Big Sky Country, Montana. It's different out here. Okay, this position is a lame white man charge. So this knoll was contested by Indians and soldiers. Some evidence indicates that soldiers of Company C occupied this position, since bodies of Sergeants Finkel and Finley were found here. Indian testimony suggests that the Southern Cheyenne war leader, Lame White Man, led a charge near this ridge. Other theories place the assault near Deep Ravine below Last Stand Hill. So I keep calling it Custer's Hill. Last Stand Hill. So let's take a look around. We've got markers of some of the fallen soldiers. Let's go this way. Yeah, I think you're allowed to do that. U.S. soldier 7th Cavalry fell here June 25th, 1876. Unknown soldier. Another. And another. So they don't know who they are. So I'm going to assume that the Indians, of course, came from the village and came up this way. Yeah, people walk through here to get this, so I don't think I'm doing too. Okay, so they don't know who these were. Yeah, it's just 3 soldiers fell here. There was a lot of soldiers being killed here, as you can see, with all the white markers here. And you're not allowed to go out there, and I understand why. And it probably just says the same thing. The same thing. Markers. And some more down. I can't see. But you get the drift. I don't see any more. So the Indians probably came up over that rise there and chased them. Killed a couple of the soldiers and chased them there. Now you got to realize there's Native American Indians being killed too all along here, anywhere there's a battle, and of course there's no markers for them, and I kind of question why, seeing that they have done archaeological digs. Well, I can't say that. The Indians would have taken their dead with them. So yeah, I'm wrong in that statement, my comment. We just came up from what was the last stop, and we seen some more. A couple more soldiers were killed down there, and then we're here called Bird Shit Out. No, Calhoun Hill, and after separate skirmishing, Custer's command reunites here. Company L under Lieutenant James Calhoun skirmishes with some Crow King, Two Moons, and other warriors. From here, these soldiers could have attracted Captain Benteen's column and the pack train. A Lakota and Cheyenne charge overruns this hilltop and stampedes carefree horses held in the ravine to your left. So they were holding the horses. As you can see, there's a skirmish line. They got off their horses. Lakota and Cheyenne warriors at Henryville. I don't know what that means. Two Moons in northern Cheyenne. The smoke was like a great cloud, and everywhere the Sioux went, the dust rose like smoke. We circled all around them, swirling like water around a stone. So he seen his Sioux cohorts surrounding them, I guess. This is from Lieutenant Edward McGuire, Corps of Engineers, Montana column. They're the ones who came after the battle, I guess. The first stand was probably made by Lieutenants Calhoun and Crittenton. The men and their empty cartridge shells were found in a semicircle around the crest. Calhoun and Crittenton were killed here along. Okay, sorry for the interruption. I had to change batteries. But anyway, the column a day or 2 or 3 days later anyway, that Lieutenant Edward McGuire was part of, that came from the west. That column was the first to, as you probably know, there was 3 columns, one coming from the west, Custer from this direction, which is towards North Dakota, where Fort Abraham Lincoln was, where he was commander, and then one from the south, which was actually beaten back a few days or weeks before this battle. Let's see if this has any of the mentioned soldiers. No. I'm not sure when these markers were placed here, how many years ago, but this was the first major battle, and you're going to be seeing these markers all over the place, and you can see them there, and I think there's one down here that we'll drive past. Okay, Keogh Crazy Horse fight, and here you will see so many white markers. Many, many white markers. So like I said, Keogh was a very interesting man if you're interested.
Did he die up here?
He sure did. So it reads, the Indian charge shatters the Calhoun defense and crushes through the soldier position at our right, which was where we came from. Captain Miles Keogh's Company I, position at right held by Captain Miles Keogh's Company I, Crazy Horse and White Bull cut down the retreating soldiers who flee northwest along this ridge in an effort to join remnants of Custer's command on Last Stand Hill. Members of Company C and L were also found here. It looked to me as if Keogh must have attempted to make a stand on foot to enable Custer to get away, because he and his company died in one compact mass, which we just seen, whereas from here graves are scattered in irregular clumps and at intervals about like those in the slaughter
so they
of
got
buffaloes.
them surrounded and herded them like cattle.
Lieutenant John Bork, 3rd Cavalry, 1877. The soldiers were on one side of the hill and the Indians on the side, a slight rise between the two parties. At this point, Crazy Horse came up and rode between the two parties. The soldiers fired at once but missed him. Red Feather, Agala Lakota. Fighting all along here. And then this is going towards the Little Bighorn River. There's one fallen soldier there. I don't see any to the left, but I got to see where Keogh got killed. I don't think I've seen that in 2013. We are getting close to Last Stand Hill, which is right over there, and the visitor center, and the coulee that has a lot of companies command cut down there. Cheyenne warrior markers. So these markers here identify where Cheyenne were killed. After the battle, Sioux and Cheyenne removed the dead and buried them in teepee scaffolds and adjacent hillsides in the Little Bighorn Valley. Southern Cheyenne chief Aviho Lame White Man and Northern Cheyenne Noisy Walking fell below this ridge during the battle. Their families erected stone cairns to commemorate the casualty site of their loved one. In 1916, Sioux and Cheyenne battle veterans showed Cheyenne historian John Stans in the timber the cairns, and he in turn showed them to Don Rickey Jr., Custer Battlefield chief historian, in 1956. In 1958, the National Park Service erected a wooden sign along the ridge to identify the site of Lame White Man's death. On June 25, 1999, red granite markers were erected by the National Park Service adjacent to the cairns as fitting memorials and to help visitor understanding of known warrior casualty sites during the Battle of the Little Bighorn. So these guys, and hopefully I can see it because we want to show these. I can't see. Damn it. Hopefully I get them. There's two of them out there. They're red and they look like what I just showed you, but it looks like the Cheyenne, at least for two, commemorated their dead and their families put, I guess, a marker, a cairn, whatever those are. He Noisy Walking was lying on a ground bed of buffalo robes under a willow shelter. I asked my friend, "How are you?" He replied, "Good, only I want water." I did not know what else to say, but wanted him to know I was his friend and willing to do whatever I could for him. I said, "You were very brave." Wooden Leg, Northern Cheyenne, and Noisy Walking died here. I don't know who that is. Another one. Chief Lame White Man, Washington D.C., November 1873. Young men, come now with me and show yourselves to be brave. Lame White Man, Southern Cheyenne, June 25th, 1876. The soldiers were on the high ground, and in one of the first charges we made, a Cheyenne chief named White Man, cripple, Lame White Man, was killed. That's right down there. John stands in timber, standing proudly before his grandfather. Lame White Man's wooden marker erected by the National Park Service on Battle Ridge. And then they replaced them with those red markers. Here's another fallen soldier right down there. Ouch. Almost fell.
Iron Hawk.
Deep ravine. Right here is a deep ravine. I guess this is in front. Custer's command deploys in the current National Cemetery area and advances into basin across the road to your left. That's over there. We'll be there. Overwhelmed by warriors including White Bull and He Dog, these soldiers sought refuge in deep ravine but were killed there. Lame White Man, Southern Cheyenne war leader, fell near here. And there's, I guess that's right here. They wouldn't have it pointed this way if it weren't. And again, the Little Bighorn in the village. I'm sorry, I should have panned like this. Is right there, so that came up from there. Okay, this is from Sergeant Daniel Knipe, Company C, 7th Cavalry. Riding along the ridge of the deep gully, about 2,000 feet from where the monument now stands, I counted 28 bodies in this gulch. So is it here or over there? I don't get it. We saw soldiers start running down hill toward us. Nearly all of them were afoot, and I think they were so scared they didn't know what they were doing. They were making their arms go as though they were running very fast, but they were only walking. Some of them shot their guns in the air. Iron Hawk, Hunka Papa Lakota. So
That was the funny man. I didn't read that.
So was it down here? We should see markers. Yeah, here's a marker. So I think it transpired here. There's only one marker though. The cemetery's right there. We'll go. Getting closer to Last Stand Hill. The Wooden Leg Hill. The hill in front of you was occupied by Lakota and Cheyenne during the fight on Last Stand Hill. Right there. An unknown Sioux warrior wearing a war bonnet was killed here while firing his rifle at soldiers positioned behind a horse barricade on the crest of the ridge behind you. A soldier carbine fire. Well, let's do this. This ridge right here where the monument is. And a soldier carbine fire ceased. Victorious warriors rushed the hill. And this, I think we already got a picture of him. Wooden Leg, Northern Cheyenne. A Sioux wearing a war bonnet was lying down behind a clump of sagebrush on the hillside only a short distance north of where now is the big stone. He was up ahead of me. Many other Indians were near him. The Sioux was peeping up and firing a rifle. A soldier bullet hit him exactly in the middle of the forehead. The shots quit coming from the soldiers. All the Indians then jumped and rushed forward. The air was full of dust and smoke. Everybody was greatly excited. Wooden Leg, Northern Cheyenne. Indians got behind Custer's command. And we're all wrong. I'm not going to read all that. But this is the archaeological dig where they found 7th Cavalry Horse Cemetery. And the closer you get to Last Stand Hill, the more people, because they're really not interested in the battle. They just wanted to tell people that they came to Little Bighorn Battlefield. So, anyway, and I'm getting excited because after this I go across the street and get some Indian fry bread. I love that stuff. It's good. This tells all. Following the Battle, Lakota and Cheyenne removed their dead and buried them in lodges, scaffolds, and hillsides. We already read that. Surviving members of the 7th Cavalry hastily buried the soldiers, Indian scouts, and civilians on June 28, 1876. That must have been part of Benteen's command. In 1877, most officers' remains were exhumed and reinterred in eastern cemeteries. Lieutenant Colonel Custer's partial remains were buried at West Point, New York. In 1881, Lieutenant Charles Rowe erected a granite memorial shaft and buried the remaining 7th Cavalry dead in a mass grave around its base. In 1890, the Army placed 249 headstone markers across the battlefield. See, now we know, 1890, in an attempt to show where Custer's men had fallen. So there's that map. A trench was dug into which were gathered all the remains of those who fell in that fight, including those who were with Reno, and deeply buried at the foot of the monument center is within 6 feet of the spot upon which were found General Custer's remains. Lieutenant Charles Rowe, 2nd Cavalry, 1881, Last Stand Hill, right here, and that's it, and all the dead. Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors surround this position near the climax of the battle. Lieutenant Colonel James Armstrong Custer, George Armstrong Custer, and approximately 41 men shoot their horses for breastworks and fight to the death. Custer and several soldiers are found at the crest of the hill, while others were discovered along the slope. This was the famed last stand of legend. So it's a legend. You gotta watch it. Snakes on trail. I'm not gonna go on trail then. We basically read, and there's the names of the dead of the 7th Cavalry at this memorial right in front of Last Stand Hill, and you get the drift. All of the soldiers, and there was civilians too. One of it was Boston Custer, and I think there was a brother-in-law of Custer buried here and there. Now we're going to go down to the memorial for the Native American Indians. Ted, you want to go see the memorial for the Indians? Closed hand. Cheyenne warrior fell here. Wow. See, it's only going to be Cheyenne. And limber bones here. And then we're going into the Indian memorial, which I did the last time I was here, but I had to run. I had to run through this, but I think I may do that again because Ted needs to get a picture of the winding Little Bighorn River, and we couldn't spot it on our way back. It was on our way out. here, and you're gonna see. I'm wondering if all this was in. Isn't that the truth? I like that saying right there. There was a great dust. No storm after the battle. Well, how was Custer saying that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure the last time I was here if this was here. It was here that got a company.
You know, each tribe is
snatching a finger where it stood and count a coup with it on a soldier. Wow. See, there's no picture. Crazy Horse wouldn't allow his face to be captured as a photo, so nobody even knows what he looks like. I'm not going to read all this stuff. Just not going to. But I really love how they got these etchings and everything. That's really cool. I don't remember this being here in 2013. Yeah, you're right, Ted. It's probably by nation,
I think it's
by tribe. This is Lakota. That was Cheyenne. Iron Hail.
Cheyenne,
this is Lakota.
Yeah.
Or Sioux, or however you want to say. Sioux was a derogatory term made by the Crow, which means, I believe the Crow, which means the enemy. Okay, now is this ones who fought? Oh, 1948 gathering of the 9 surviving warriors of the battle. Look at this. 1948. Wow. They were young men. Young men at the time. And I guess this is all the warriors who fought here. Boy. I wonder. See, and they probably just put Crazy Horse amongst these. Nothing special. Wow, that is so cool. That night, the Lakota men, women, and children lighted many fires and danced. Their hearts were glad, for the Great Spirit had given them a great victory. Here's Sitting Bull. There's Sitting Bull. Well, that's a beautiful picture of him. Truth, Justice, and Wisdom. Crazy Horse. 1840 to 1877. So that's Sitting Bull. In order to heal our grandmother Earth, we must unify through peace. Oh, I got you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, Ted. They're calling my head a melon. I'm not so sure about that. Did you ever see the movie I Married an Axe Murderer or something? That was funny. And I guess this is these old scouts, they remember them, the ways of the old ones who were the good ways that were ours. Arakawa Scouts song.
This isn't a spot we can climb right here. Get this. It's cool though, but
Fought and died in the Battle of the Little Bighorn. These are ones who were killed. Wow. Whitemore runs in. You have scouted against the enemy, the Sioux once. Now you're scout again. Crow honoring song. Crow country is exactly in the right place. Everything good is to be found there. There is no country like the Crow country. Rotten Belly, Crow. These were mortal enemies of the Lakota. A scout is like a lone wolf that must be looking all the time. So these, I believe it, I don't think they scouted for the U.S. Army, but these guys did. Our leading chief saw that to help the white men fight their enemies and ours would make them our friends. We had always fought the three tribes, Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho. Our decision was reached because we plainly saw that this course was the only one which might save our beautiful country for us. Chief Plenty Coup, Crow. That didn't work. See how the Indians place ribbons on there to commemorate their heroes and their dead. Pretty impressive. A good picture of the Little Bighorn. I don't know what the red stuff is though. And no, there to the side of that. Try one of them on. I think that'd be cool. None of them wore any of those at the battle. At least I don't think so. Can I put one on?
But I got to find one that fits.
Well, they're all one
Medium and
size.
small.
Yeah, well, just put the damn thing on. It's a joke. Oh, that's a better looking one. Oh, that's even a better looking one. There you go. That's real Civil War-ish though. I like that one. Okay, thanks. See, you don't even look at him, you know who he is.
Reservation a few days earlier. Fort Abraham Lincoln, right there. We should have went there. Traveled through there.
But we didn't. We didn't have the time. I didn't really want to go anyway. Go to here. We're right there. Little Bighorn right there. Oops, excuse me. Cavalry flag over there. That was what they wore. That helmet is on parade. That's what they wore on the parade ground. There's another one. You can see Miles Keogh in one of those in his famous picture of him. Oh, how neat. I think I already got this. I'm glad I came back to get the whole store. Oh, how neat. Look at that. Let's see if we can get him. Boy, that is really cool. And then if you so desire, come here. Here's some of the Indian tools that they know. Buffalo robe. When they killed all the buffalo, that was it. For the Plains Indians. All to kill them off. Kill them off. A guidon is what they're called. I believe that's how you pronounce it. A guidon. We're at the Crow Nation Reservation. And we're at the Custer Battlefield. I forget what it's called. And I just had a fry bread taco and it was so friggin' good. Yee, fry bread's so good. Trading post. They have fake teepees here. See the fake teepees? I don't like that. They should have real ones, real looking ones. I mean, anyway, it's color. Devil's Tower. Close-up view, and then this is about where I'm really standing, and then this camera actually wanted to show it like that. Isn't that the silliest thing? So if I come in, that's about what it should look like right there. Oh well. Here's a closer view, but we can't tell if there's a national park. We think there is. So we're going to try that here after. I can go in closer. Just look and see what it looks like in close. All the way up. And all the way down. Now we're in the national park. Probably should have done that from the very beginning. We didn't know that existed. Anyway, let me zoom in just to get a good look at what it, close up what it really looks like. There's still it sounds like a debate as to how this was formed. If it was volcanic or what. But we're going to go up farther ahead and see to get a full view. There, this is the best view of it, the whole thing. This is awesome. Let's go out and I think that's perfect. Perfect shot. Oh, red squirrel just stole something. I don't know where he went. He's good. Funny things that happened to us. Our first night in Waterloo, Iowa, we have a hard time finding a motel room. because there's a worldwide Irish festival that weekend. We got lucky because some hotel not manager, but at the desk, felt sorry for us and found us a room. Now you are looking at the Hewlett Motel in Hewlett, Wyoming. So we started looking for motels after Devil's Tower, and we were told to come in here because there's a Best Western. Well, Best Western, I'm not sure had a room. Hello. So we came here, but it was a little expensive, but it's quite cute here. But the problem we're having, just like the first night, we're not aware that the Sturgis motorcycle thing was taking place. So we're here in this beautiful little town, and I'm gonna go explore it. The Belle Horse River. As you can see, I have fantastic command of the French language, as you could hear me pronounce the river's name. We're 9 miles from the tower, and it's impossible. We're like 60 miles from Sturgis. It's the last night of the rally, and this is the cheapest place we could find, and I'm kind of glad we did. A little expensive, but here's the river. It's a pretty river. Pretty river. Nice meandering with grass, grasses go all the way up to the end. Oh, there was one neat thing at Devil's Den. We had to look out for rattlesnakes, but we never seen any. So now I'm gonna go into this town and explore it. Hopefully there's things open. I don't think there's gonna be much, but I think the bar is, and I think I'll have me a beer. I think I deserve a beer. And we actually got lucky getting one here, but it's open. It says vacancy. A little expensive, you know. They jack up the prices when there's things like Irish festivals and motorcycle rallies, you know. Pretty famous stuff apparently. But this is all decked out in like an old western town. I don't know the history of it. My app has been picking up so much stuff, it's pathetic. Throughout this vacation, I think I'll go home and spend a few hours looking over the ones that I'm interested in. I gotta watch myself crossing the street, the corner market, beautiful Hewlett, Wyoming. None of this stuff, of course, is going to be open, and we're not going to be able to enjoy it tomorrow, because we're going to get up and leave. We got to go see Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, maybe take a stroll through Deadwood, and then it's on to Cincinnati. The end of our vacation, our meanderings. If I remember, I'll get a video of how my car got damaged by some old drunk at a motel. Didn't see us pulling in and smacked us with his bumper. But thank goodness we were able to still drive. This looks new. This is Home Depot. There's a Quonset hut. Pretty flowers in front. I don't know what this is. I'm looking for a bar. Imagine that. And there's the bank. Ted and I are gonna put our scarves in front of our, oh, there, I see bar. I see a bar. It's got a big old sign says bar. But let's discover a little bit more. See what this says. Memorial Park. Pioneer Memorial Park. Hewlett Pioneer Memorial Park. Courtesy. What? Well, it's a cute little park. Probably sit out there, maybe drink a beer. But that, oh, excuse me, it appears that there's another section. Ponderosa Cafe. Oh well, okay, there's a rodeo, something or other over there. Saloon, that's open too. Don't like too many people are in there. Then we got not too much more to this place. Got a hardware store, and they say the bikers are welcome. They bring in tourist money. There's Patches Galore sewing machine. I don't know what that means. And then I think this is end of town. They have a museum. And I'm not sure, this is an antique mall it looks like. And guns and ammo. Well, we're out west. Let's see what this museum has to offer. It's not like we're gonna go in it. Make sure I don't get ran over. Well, there's a, that looks like a interesting place. And that too. Hidden. And the Baptist church is over there because we tried at the, right where that bus is the the Best Western, and they're booked with what have you. Let's see what this has to say. Devil's Tower Country.com. There's the Devil's Tower. There's Sundance. And where are we at? Good question. We gotta go all the way back down to 90. So we're up here. Hewlett's up there. So we gotta come all the way down to here. And that's what we're gonna have to do. But let's see what this has inside. Yeah, it's all dark. I got a gun. See? Guns. That's pretty neat. And then I'm not sure what this is over here. Ow, my legs are like, that's a deli. And that's closed. So I'm gonna cut this off and go have me a beer. Well, they got something down there too. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the bar. So I think I can go in the back door. I think that's the same bar that I seen on the other street. Beer. Oh, look at this. They got a golf cart on top. Property real estate. If you want to come move, there you go. There's the number, the quick number. I don't know what this is over here. Just looks like oh, a boot scooting place. Bands. Here's the bar. And look at skeletons are in there. See the skeletons? I always go the wrong way. Skeletons. And there. The tongue don't lie. Welcome package beer sold here. The bar. Military veterans. I don't know if I can go in here or not. I don't know. Nope. Gotta go in the front door. Front door. That's employees only. And you can sit out here on the patio and I don't know, shoot your 6 shooters. There's an outhouse up there, and it says it's open, so it ought to be, because they should get a whole bunch of people. Okay, we'll take a little. Closed? Oh, fudge. Fudge. Closed. It's Saturday night. No, this one's open. Open. Fudge. What the hell? It looks like it'll be me and the bartender. The guy I met at our hotel back here that we eventually got a room at, an older gentleman, he told me that over the week there was motorcycles all over this place. So we're going here. I don't know why they have their bar, but I'll take a picture of it. The saloon. The saloon says open, and bikers are welcome. Welcome to the Captain Ron's Rodeo Bar. That's where we're going. Captain Ron's Rodeo Bar. And I'm sure these people don't want to be filmed, so we'll just show you what it looks like in the rodeo bar. Whoops, don't want to get anything. And that, oh, let's look at this back here. This looks interesting. People smoking here. I think Wyoming you're still allowed to, yeah, Wyoming you're still allowed to smoke. Well, at least it was not too long. Oh, this is interesting. It's kind of cool. I don't know if that's a stage or not, but for the hog pen, Hammond and Jammin' 35. Anyway, I'm gonna have me a beer. Goodbye. So I made it a point not to drink on this, but after my car got smushed and driving all this fucking way, I decided to have 5 fantastic ambers from a microbrew around here. Some of the best amber I had. Now I gotta show you what I'm looking at. See if it comes into view. It's way off in the distance, and you can't even tell what it is. No, you can't. It's like prominent up there, white, but it's not catching it. It's supposed to be, it's a cross. You can't even tell it's a cross. Why can't this do that? They won't show it, but here prominently it's white.
Here you go, lighter.
It's terrible. I do have a lighter. There, now you can kind of see it.
Jesus loves you.
I know, Jesus loves me, this I know, because the Bible tells me.
Got a light?
But we Catholics never did sing that song. I do, hold on.